We wanted something unforgettable, something wild, fun, a little reckless. After years of saving, of planning, we booked the honeymoon in Las Vegas. Not the flashy, high-end resort kind. No. We went for the quieter, vintage side of Vegas. Old neon signs, creaky casinos with carpet that hadn't changed since the 80s, and a boutique hotel that boasted authentic mid-century charm. It looked quaint online, retro, romantic, but from the moment we stepped inside, something felt ... Off. The lobby was dim. Not atmospheric, just poorly lit. A single receptionist sat behind the counter, her back turned, typing something furiously. She didn't look up when we walked in, not even when the door slammed shut behind us on its own. Checking in, I said, trying to sound cheerful. She finally turned. Her face looked wrong. Not scary, exactly, just not quite alive, like she was imitating a smile she hadn't earned. Her eyes were glassy, too wide, and her voice sounded like it echoed a little, even though the room was small. "Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Hartley," she said before I even gave her our names. "Room 306, elevators down, stairs to the left." I remember glancing at my wife, Sarah, raising an eyebrow. We hadn't mentioned our names yet, but Sarah just shrugged and smiled like it was a computer glitch. Maybe it was, maybe we were. Tired, I don't know. The staircase felt like it went on forever. 3 floors, but it felt like we climbed 7. The air got heavier the higher we went, and the silence was wrong. Vegas is noisy. Even the old hotels have music, slot machines, some kind of background buzz. Not here. Room 306 was at the very end of the hall. The carpeting changed halfway down, from red to a strange bluish grey. It smelled faintly of dust and iron. We opened the door. The room looked normal enough. Clean bed, old TV, a mirror above the dresser that had a small crack in the corner. Nothing extraordinary, until we saw the note on the pillow. "Do not sleep, stay together. Do not open the bathroom door after midnight." There was no signature, just those words in tight, panicked handwriting. I laughed, nervously. "Weird prank," I said. "Maybe from the last guest." Sarah didn't laugh. She looked genuinely uneasy. But again, we were exhausted. A long flight, jet lag, and adrenaline from the wedding still crashing through us. We pushed the note aside and decided to ignore it. We freshened up, watched some local cable, ate from a vending machine downstairs since room service was apparently unavailable after dark, and tried to settle in. At 11:30 p.m, the TV glitched. Not just static, but a flicker of something else. A black and white image of the hallway. Our hallway. Room 36's door was in frame. There was a figure standing in front of it. A woman, wearing a torn wedding dress. "No head," Sarah screamed. I grabbed the remote and turned off the TV. The screen went black. Then a knock at our door, 3 slow knocks. I froze. "Don't open it," Sarah whispered. "Please don't open it." I looked through the peephole. There was no one there, but the hallway on the other side. It wasn't the same one we walked through. The walls were wet. The carpet was gone, and there were handprints smeared all over the inside of the glass. My heart was pounding so hard, I could barely think. I turned away from the door and said, "We're leaving tomorrow. First thing." Then we heard the sound, the bathroom faucet, running. I turned slowly. The bathroom door was closed. We hadn't used it in hours. Sarah was pale. "It's past midnight," she whispered. I remembered the note. "Do not open the bathroom door after midnight." I wish I could tell you I listened. I wish I could say I was smart enough to just leave it closed. Wait till morning. But I had to know. I had to see, and that was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I turned the bathroom doorknob slowly. It was cold, too cold, like it had been sitting in ice. The sound of running water behind the door grew louder, but now I could also hear breathing. Wet, rattling, unnatural. Sarah grabbed my wrist. "Please don't open it," she whispered. "Whatever's in there, it's not meant to be seen." I didn't listen. The door creaked open. The bathroom was dark, except for the flickering light above the mirror. The faucet was running, just like we heard, but the sink was full of something thick and black. It wasn't water, it was moving. And then I saw the reflection. Not mine, not Sarah's. Someone else was standing behind us in the mirror. A woman, drenched, skin pale and bloated like she'd been underwater for days. Her wedding dress clung to her like wet paper. Her face, or what was left of it, was a ruin of slashed skin and missing eyes. I turned around instantly. There was nothing there but in the mirror. She was still there, getting closer. We slammed the door shut, and I shoved the dresser. In front of it, Sarah started to cry. "I want to go home," she kept repeating. "I want to go home. I want to go home." That's when the phone rang. The old landline on the nightstand. We hadn't touched it. The screen read, "Front desk." Picked up, "Hello." A long pause. Then a voice, whispery, sharp, female. "She knows you opened the door. She follows the ones who open it." I slammed the phone down. The lights went out. Pitch black. We used the flashlight on my phone and packed our things in silence. Every few seconds, the bathroom door would rattle gently at first, then harder, like someone was pushing from the inside. Then it stopped completely. We didn't wait. We rushed down the hall, dragging our bags, nearly tripping down the endless staircase. We expected to see the front lobby, but when we got there, it wasn't the same place. It was empty. The walls were stripped to concrete, wires hanging from the ceiling, dust, cobwebs. And in the middle of it all, the same receptionist desk. Only it was rotting, covered in soot, and behind it sat the woman from before. Only now, she wasn't hiding it. Her skin was shriveled and cracked. Her jaw hung loose like it had been broken. She didn't blink. She didn't move. She just stared. "Please," I begged. "We just want to check out." She grinned, a slow, splitting grin. "You already did," she whispered. Suddenly, the doors behind us burst open. But it wasn't the Vegas Strip. It was the desert. Flat, endless, dark, except for one flickering neon sign in the distance that read, "The forever sweet vacancy always." I turned to Sarah. She was gone, gone, gone. I called her name, screamed into the empty wind. Nothing. Only that blinking sign in the distance. Then, behind me, a whisper. She stayed to be with the bride. Turned. The mirror above the old check-in desk now reflected the hotel room. Sarah was in it, standing by the bathroom door, and it was open. I stood frozen in that lobby, or what used to be a lobby, staring into the cracked mirror that didn't show my reflection, but my wife. Alone in room 306, the door behind her was wide open. She wasn't moving, just staring into the bathroom, like she was in a trance. I shouted her name, Sarah, but it wasn't sound that carried anymore. Not from this side. It was like the mirror was a screen, a memory, a warning, or worse, a live feed from somewhere else. and the receptionist, or whatever she was, leaned toward me again, her smile too wide to be human. "She's with the bride now," she rasped. "They all stay once the vow is broken." I grabbed the edge of the desk and screamed, "What vow?" She blinked slowly. Her eyes were empty sockets now. "You opened the door. That is the vow. You let her in." I turned and ran, out the front. Doors, into the freezing desert wind. No street, no traffic, just blackness and sand stretching forever, except for that one blinking neon sign in the distance. The forever sweet vacancy always, and I ran toward it, dragging my suitcase, heart hammering like it would split open. The closer I got, the more the sign changed. "You checked in, you can't check out. Love never dies. Neither do we." Below the sign was another building, same architecture, same shape, same crooked smile of a roofline. Only older, abandoned, a twisted twin of the hotel we had just stayed in. The glass doors were shattered. The lobby was filled with dust and bones of dead plants. On the wall, there was an old faded photo, a wedding party, black and white, all smiles. I looked closer, the woman in the center. It was her, the ghost bride, the woman from the bathroom, but she was alive in this photo, happy, normal, in her gown, holding the groom's hand below the picture. Marianne Whitmore and Thomas Green, June 13th, 1965. Don't know what made me look it up later, but that date, there was a newspaper article, a fire, wedding guests trapped in the upper floors of the original, forever suite. Bride was found dead in the bathroom door, locked from the inside. Groom never found. Some say she set the fire. Others say the hotel was cursed long before she walked in. But all of them agree on one thing. Anyone who opens that bathroom door after midnight hears her, and some never leave. I stepped into the building, calling out for Sarah. The hallways inside were warped and disjointed, like a dream stitched together by someone who had never been awake. Each room I passed had something wrong. Room 301, the sound of a baby crying, but no child inside. Room 303, blood leaking from beneath the door. Room 304, open, but filled with hundreds of wedding rings scattered across the carpet. Then I reached room 306. The number on the door was carved in, like it had been scratched. In desperation, I pushed it open. The room was dimly lit, candles flickering on every surface. And in the center of the room, in front of the bathroom door, was Sarah Dott, still in her hoodie, still barefoot, but her eyes weren't hers. "Sarah," I whispered. She turned slowly. "She says I look beautiful," she said in a voice that wasn't hers. "She says I can stay forever." "No," I said, stepping closer. "This isn't real. You have to come with me. We'll go. We'll leave this place." Her head tilted. "She never got to finish her wedding night," Sarah whispered. "She never got her vows. So now she takes them from others." Suddenly, the bathroom door slammed, open behind her, and the bride came out. This time, I saw her fully soaking, dripping, veil melted into her scalp. Her face was a shredded patchwork of longing and fury. She walked slowly, dragging something behind her, a veil or maybe a shroud, and she looked at me like I was the groom she'd lost. I did the only thing I could. I stepped between her and Sarah. "I'll finish your vow," I said aloud, trying to steady my voice. "I'll say it." She stopped. The air grew thick, burning hot. My lips started to move on their own. From this night until my last breath, I am yours, I heard myself say. The bride leaned in so close, I could smell the rot. She lifted a finger and placed it against my chest, right over my heart. Then, "Stay," she whispered, "forever." But I pulled Sarah into my arms and yelled, "I already made my vow, and it wasn't to you." The lights shattered, the candles blew out. The scream that followed wasn't from a throat, it came from the walls, from the floor, from every mirror and pipe and wire in the building. And when I opened my eyes, we were outside, back in daylight, the real Las Vegas skyline behind us, horns honking, people walking. Normal again, no hotel behind us, just an empty lot, chain link fence, a sign that read, "Site of the Forever Suite Hotel, destroyed in 1973. Do not trespass." We never found our suitcase. Our photos from the trip were gone, replaced by grainy black and white images of other couples we'd never met. Sarah never talks about what she saw in that bathroom, and I still have dreams where I'm back in that room, always at 12:01 am. Sometimes I hear a knock, 3 slow knocks, and a whisper through the wall. "You said forever."